Hello children! The living organisms, including plants and animals, carry out various life processes. Food is needed by all living organisms, mainly for growth and repair. You have studied in your previous classes how different organisms get their food. Let us study autotrophic nutrition in plants in detail. I am Bindu. Will explain to you the topic autotrophic nutrition in this lesson. Life processes of class 10th biology. Some organisms can prepare their own food and are called autotrophs, including the green plants and some bacteria. Plants prepare their food by photosynthesis using sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. Thus, plants are the universal food provider for all living organisms. Von Helmont and others believe that plants get their food material not only from soil but also from other sources. During photosynthesis, the plants with the green pigment, chlorophyll, build up complex organic molecules from simple inorganic ones, using sunlight as an energy source. Photosynthesis is a complex process, including several steps and intermediary components. This is described in the form of an equation by C.B. Van Neel in 1931. He described that for each molecule of carbohydrate formed, one molecule of water and one molecule of oxygen is produced. Learning outcomes. After studying this topic, you will be able to know raw materials required for photosynthesis, structural components and functions of chloroplast, process or mechanisms of photosynthesis. Keywords: photosynthesis, chloroplast, chlorophyll, grana, stroma, light reaction, dark reaction, stomata, starch, cellulose. Let's see the nutrition in plants and examples in this concept map. Photosynthesis is a chemical reaction. The plants synthesize carbohydrates from simpler to more complex ones like starch and cellulose, and other compounds like proteins, fats, etc. Experiment to show presence of starch in leaves. Let us take a leaf from a plant well exposed to sunlight. Boil the leaf in water and then in methylated spirit in a test tube over a water bath. It becomes pale white due to the removal of chlorophyll. Take the leaf carefully from the test tube by using a brush and observe. Spread the leaf in a petri dish and add a few drops of tincture, iodine or betadine solution on it. The presence of starch will be indicated by a blue-black color. From the equation of photosynthesis, we know that carbon dioxide and water are raw materials required for photosynthesis. Von Helmont found that water was essential for the increase of plant mass. Joseph Priestley in 1733 to 1804. In 1770, performed a series of experiments that revealed the essential role of air on the growth of green plants. Oxygen was discovered by Priestley in 1774. And the name oxygen was coined by Lavoisier in 1775. Priestley observed that a candle burning in a closed bell jar soon gets extinguished. Similarly, a mouse would soon suffocate in a closed space of bell jar. When he placed a mint plant in the bell jars, the mouse stayed alive and the candle also continued burning. Priestley explained that plants restore air removed by breathing animals and burning candles. Priestley's experiment confirmed that gaseous exchange was going on. The plants were giving out a gas that supported burning and was essential for the survival of animals. How do plants take in air and utilize carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and oxygen for respiration? Huge amounts of gaseous exchange occur through the stomata present in leaves and also through loose tissues on stems, roots, etc. Try to recollect the experiment to show that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis, studied in your previous class. For more information, watch Plant Nutrition Digestion Part 1 video of Class 8. The potassium hydroxide placed in plant A pot absorbs all the carbon dioxide inside the polythene bag, and therefore plant A fails to perform photosynthesis. The sodium bicarbonate placed in plant B pot releases carbon dioxide and enables photosynthesis. Light and photosynthesis. A Dutch scientist, Jan Ingenhousz, in 1730 to 1799, studied how the plants produce oxygen. In 1779, he noticed that it happened only in the presence of light. In an experiment with the aquatic plant, Hydrilla, in bright sunlight, small bubbles formed around the green parts, while in the dark they did not form. He also found that the gas present in the bubbles was oxygen. Further, Engelmann, in the early 20th century, detected the point of maximum rate of photosynthesis. He used a strand of algae and exposed it to different colors of light. He then used oxygen-sensitive bacteria and found that they would crowd around areas illuminated with red and blue light. This led to more studies on effect of light on photosynthesis. The role of different colored compounds called pigments in plants and the utilization of light energy. Sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. Take a potted plant with destarched leaves. Cover one of its leaves with black paper on which a design is cut. Fix the paper on the leaf in such a manner that light does not enter the dark part. Place this potted plant in sunlight. After a few hours of exposure to bright sunlight, test the leaf, which is covered by black paper, for the presence of starch. It will be observed that only the parts of the leaf exposed to light through the cut-out design turns blue-black, showing the presence of starch. Ingenhouse proposed that only green plant parts could carry out photosynthesis. In 1817, Pelletier and Cavendish obtained an extract of the green colored substance and named it chlorophyll, meaning green leaf. In 1883, Julius von Sachs observed that chlorophyll in plant cells is not spread throughout the cell but only some organelles. Such organelles were named chloroplasts. These are present in 40 to 100 numbers in the stomatal gourd cells and ground tissues of plants. The chloroplast contains 3 membranes. The third layer forms a stacked sac-like structure called granum, and it traps the solar energy. The intermediary fluid-filled portion is called stroma. It is the site of enzymatic reaction leading to the synthesis of glucose, which joins together to form starch. The photosynthetic pigments found in chloroplast capture sunlight, and they are of many types. Chlorophyll is a pigment containing an atom of magnesium. Two major types of chlorophylls are chlorophyll A is blue-green in color and chlorophyll B is in yellow-green color. Around 250 to 400 pigment molecules form a light harvesting complex or photosynthetic unit. Many such units function together during photosynthesis. The photosynthesis is a multi-event process including conversion of light energy to chemical energy, splitting of water molecules, reduction of CO2 to carbohydrates. The light energy captured can help the reactions to continue even in the dark. Light-dependent reaction occurs in the presence of sunlight in the grana region. This freeze is also called the photochemical freeze and involves 3 steps. Step 1. The chlorophyll on exposure to light energy becomes activated by absorbing photons. Photon is the smallest unit of light energy. Step 2. The energy is used in splitting the water molecule into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. This reaction is known as photolysis. Photo means light, lysis means breaking. This was discovered by Hill and called Hill's reaction. Step 3. The highly reactive ions of water undergo quick change. The OH- ions, through a series of steps, produce water and oxygen. Water may be used inside the plant, but O2 is released into the atmosphere. The H+ ions undergo a series of changes in dark reaction. The energy-rich compounds like ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and NADPH, nicotinamide, adenosine dinucleotide hydrogen phosphate, are formed at the end of the light reaction. Light-independent reaction is a biosynthetic phase and does not require the presence of light. These reactions may occur in some plants after daytime and sometimes even in the dark. This is also called dark reaction and occurs in the stroma. The dark reaction does not mean that they occur in the dark at night, but means that these reactions are not dependent on light. The H+ ions produced in photolysis are picked up by NADP to form NADPH. In the dark phase, the hydrogen of the NADPH is used to combine with CO2 by utilizing ATP producing glucose. C6, H12O6. This synthesizes occurs in a number of steps using intermediate compounds like ribulose, bis, phosphate, RUBP and enzymes. Finally, the glucose is converted to starch. Points to remember. All green plants are autotrophs and prepare their food by a process called photosynthesis. It is a chemical reaction utilizing sunlight, carbon dioxide and water producing starch, oxygen and water. Photosynthesis occurs in chloroplasts. The light absorbing green pigment is called chlorophyll. The light reactions occurs in grana and dark reaction occur in stroma of the chloroplast.